Yes. It's Thursday. And I say good morning to you and thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to the Diana Wright Show live online. And we hope you had a great evening. It's nice and cool in Florida. Just in case you're wondering, it seems like it's cold everywhere. Storms coming from everywhere. But anyway, we still have sunshine in the Sunshine State. This is Diana Wright, and we welcome you once again to the program. And we hope that we will do something, say something, make you feel something to encourage you on this day as you move about your day. I'm going to start off talking about love. Yes, love. Because love is something that God commands us to do. Loving with all our hearts, our minds, our soul. So I'm simply commanding you today to love yourself. To go to that mirror, look in that cell phone, look in that mirror in your car, wherever you are, and just simply say, I love me. You see, love is a word that is mentioned so many times in the Bible, everywhere you go. Love is good, love is kind, love is true, love is amazing. But when you love yourself, you conquer all things. There's nothing that you can't fight, you can't conquer, you can't get over. You can't do. Because you see, in some of your tragedies that will happen in your life, whatever it is, you will need the love of yourself to give you that strength to carry on and to do what you need to do and what you must do to survive whatever devastation comes to you. All right, so remember, the scripture says, fear not, for God is with you. In the scripture, it actually says, fear not, for I am with you. When we read the scripture, we should always put our names in the place or refer it to ourselves. Okay? So, and let's just talk about something that I just feel so good about today. Because when you reconnect with some people in your life, they just make you feel like you can conquer everything. And that's someone that I've worked with before, Dax Dunn. We got reconnected yesterday. But he's such an inspirational figure. I worked with him when he had his own mortgage company called Rad Financial. And I did great. I excelled. He thought I was, good. And he was just wonderful and good at that. But now he's moved his Rad Financial into Rad Wellness. And what a time to reconnect when we all need to be well. And we all need to interlink the two messages of I love me and your wellness. Because if you don't love yourself, it's hard for you to be well. If you feel like you're overweight and you're doing nothing about it, you're not loving yourself. If you feel like you need to change your diet to make you healthy and you don't, then you're not really taking care of yourself and you're not loving yourself. So as we await, Dax will be here with us next Wednesday on the program, Wednesday morning. I just want to tell you how great it is when you have someone who you love, who you believe in, and they feel the same way towards you, reciprocity, and they can appreciate the journey that you've had and the disasters and tragedy that may have affected your life. But to see that you're not in the crazy house, or you're not depressed, or you're not feeling sorry for yourself and having your own pity party, it's wonderful to reconnect. So, as you join us each and every day, I will do my best to bring you the best people that can encourage you to be the best that you actually can be. Because remember now, we are a gift. God gave us gifts and we must use those gifts to better ourselves. And he commanded you to love him, so I am commanding you to love you. And I know you can do it. I know you can get out of whatever you're in, but faith is a very important thing. But faith with works. Because if you just have faith and you do nothing, nothing will happen. But when you have faith and you trust and believe that God will take you through whatever you've been through, and my book, Deadly Negligence, will tell you all that I've been through. It's a horror story. Yes, it is. And when I've gone to talking to people already in churches, and a lady came up to me and said, I don't know how you did that. How did you do that? I would have given up after a couple of months. But how could I have given up? This was a child I planned and wanted and hoped for and dreamed for, and God gave her to me. So how could I have given up? So I'm asking you today to not give up on whatever is happening in your life. It might just take a little longer than you think it will take or you want it to take. But if you truly have crazy blind faith like I do, and you choose to live in the supernatural and eliminate all the negative people around you, I promise you, all that you wish and you hope for will actually come true. So, not necessarily in your time, but in God's time. But it will happen. So welcome once again to the Diane Allwright Show live online, as we just kind of reminisce about finding people that you were with and did so well with, and, earned some cash with too. When you reconnect with them, it's always a good feeling to know that they're still in your corner. And they're still willing to support you, and you're willing to do the same for them. So anyway, let's move right along, because we talk about love. And I talk sometimes about death, and we should not fear death, because that's something that none of us can control. When God decides that your time is up, it's up. But I want you to think about this thought today. He that is within you is much greater than he that is after you. Because a lot of you believe that people are after you, people are out to get you and all that kind of stuff. Oh, come on. Get that out your system. Live in the supernatural and move forward with your life. Because the only person that's holding you back is you. So, let's go to Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez, who, of course, died, and thousands, if not millions of people are mourning his death, especially the people in Venezuela, because they're thankful because he decided to take on doing good for the poor. Yes, he might have had his motives, because he did it because he wanted to be president and he wanted their votes. But in their minds, they're thanking him for $2. Was it 2 cents a gallon gas? Not $2, 2 cents a gallon gas. And he's thanking them for all the free housing that he gave. So they mourn and they cry in the street as if they lost their mother, because he decided to help them, despite the fact that it was for his own benefit. So where do Venezuelans go from here with their new vice president? I guess he will be there until they decide when the next election will be. But I wanted to share with you the last words of the powerful, the intimidating, the crazy, whatever name you want to put on his name, Hugo Chavez. His last words: I don't want to die. Please don't let me die. And I quote. So in his moment that God was ready to take him out, even though they're still talking crazy, his vice president is talking crazy about the fact that the enemy gave him cancer. He actually died of a massive heart attack. Imagine that. And when we're down to that moment that God says, I'm taking you home, I hope and pray that each and every one of us go out in peace. Don't fight it. Let it be. And don't fear death, because you are not in control of that. And that's one thing I know that none of us rich or poor, black or white, immigrant or not immigrant, Republican or Democrat, powerful or not so powerful. We will all go when God says, through his son Jesus, it's time for you to come home. Because you see, we can't control that. And that equalizes each and every one of us to the point that we have to realize that we're not in control of our lives. Everything that's happening to you right now is what is supposed to happen to you, whether it's bad or good. But it depends on how you behave and how you handle that bad or that good that comes into your presence and in your life to disrupt it, to tear it apart, to make you lose your footing and your ground. Because that happens to me. That happened to me and my family. Yeah? And as you await the day that that book is out, Deadly Negligence, write it down, because it will be out soon. And I know that's God's plan, because I know, just like some of my family members have said, what has happened to you and the way you handle it and the way you trusted and had faith in God truly make me believe that God is still in the business of working miracles. And yes, he is. So I encourage you today, wherever you are, whatever your problem is, God and his son Jesus is bigger than that problem. And whomever you have in your life that's being negative, kick them to the curb and keep on moving. Discover your dreams, realize your dreams, and keep on having faith and stay prayed up, because that's important. Prayer is important. It can change things. It can make things happen. And it can stop things. Okay, so that's what it is. In his last words, I don't want to die. Please don't let me die. How many of us are going to say that? At 58, he's young. He's powerful. He had the power to be the president of Venezuela. He had oil. Yes. And plenty of it. And he could give to his people, majority of whom are poor, and who now mourn his death and wonder what's going to happen next. But if you listen to other people who say to you that even though you're poor, you need to stand up and pull up your own bootstraps. So that's probably the message for the Venezuelans now who are crying and weeping in the streets as his body lies in state. Open coffin so they can actually see him. Yes. They will mourn for 7 days and they will bury him tomorrow, Friday. But then again, as powerful as he was, he will only get a small space in the ground, or whatever they choose. If they choose to cremate him or whatever it is. I don't know what their customs are over there. But I suspect that he will be buried. Right? So, just think about that today. No matter how powerful you are, whether you're the Koch brothers, whether you're Donald Trump, whether you're Republican or Democrat, whether you hate the president or you love him, your day will come that you'll be asking and probably requesting, please don't let me die. Important thoughts for you to think about this morning. Heavy thoughts too, but it's good. It's good for us to realize that we are indeed just human beings. We're all one people. We don't have to love everybody. We just need to love ourselves and teach our children to love themselves. And if you don't have any children, teach your family members to love themselves. That's a good thing. That would be your good deed for this day. So as I remind you that April 30th is National I Love Me Day, declared by me, Diana Wright, on this show, I invite you to circle that date on your calendars. Circle it on your children's calendars. Write it down in your journal and plan what you will do for yourself on that day when you realize that loving yourself brings you so much joy and peace and tranquility and power. Personal power is what it brings. So make sure you do that. Get up and go do it now. It's important. It's important to save your own life. All right, let's go to business. Some business is good. Some business is good. Walmart.com is doing good things for women. Yes, they are trying to do some good. Walmart will launch a line of products from women-owned businesses, yes, on their website. And they announced that today. This is Walmart's latest push to position itself as a leader in women's economic empowerment. What great words. Woo. More than 200 items will be included in this banner, from jewelry to iPad cases to coffee beans, apparel, and much more. The tagline for this that Walmart has as their header on their website: empowering women together. How nice it is to see, because you see most of Walmart's staff seem to be female. And I have become concerned about how they're treated. I even go in the supermarket, go into Walmart and ask them, is it true the way they treat you that they talk about on TV? Most of the times they're afraid to speak because they're in Walmart and they're working. But, you know, you can tell by their facial expressions whether it's true or it's not true. It is true. Yeah. And a lot of people are mad with Walmart too. A lot of women say they don't get promoted. A lot of women say their hours get cut and they get treated differently from the guys. So Walmart is trying to do some good. And doing good, empowering women together. That's the tagline you're going to see when you go online to actually search. And maybe you are coming up with some kind of product, or, you know, designing something or inventing something. Maybe Walmart.com is the place for you to get what you need, the publicity and the purchasing power. So this may, you know, this comes, of course, just before International Women's Day, which is actually tomorrow, Friday. So Walmart strategic planning just before International Women's Day. Walmart decides to do something good for women, to empower women. So if you are a woman and you have something that you'd like to get through Walmart, they're starting you off on Walmart.com. Okay, so that's good news. It's always good to hear good news. You know, I'm tired of the bad news most of the times. But anyway, we have to get to politics. So is there good news in politics today? Yes, there is. And I have a lot of questions, because I am wondering why President Obama spent 4 years of his presidency not having dinner with a large group of Republicans. Why did he spend 4 years negotiating with Speaker Boehner behind closed doors? Why did the president continue to negotiate with people who he knew he was not going to get anywhere with? He took him to play golf. That didn't work, because Speaker Boehner has no power with his caucus, especially the Tea Partiers. So why didn't he yes, I gather he was taking them to dinner, a few of them coming to the White House. But what he did last night seemed to have satisfied a lot of them. I heard kind words coming out of Senator Lindsey Graham, so I love you today. You are now in my good book, Senator Lindsey Graham. I'm going to be watching you to see what you do next, because he was actually saying positive things. Senator John McCain said the dinner was fantastic. Who? Ron Johnson? He had positive things to say about the dinner. So I am truly wondering why the president did not take time out in the past 4 years instead of trying to do some deals in the dark or under the quiet of the White House. Why didn't he just do this? Because all the Republicans seem to have wanted was for the president to hang out with them a little bit. Give them his heart and his soul. Yeah, they seem to be quite happy today. Let's see how long this happiness lasts. And let's see how long this happiness will produce something good for the Republicans to start doing their jobs and stop blocking the government and the president and threatening to do this and filibuster that and close down the government and oh my goodness. So we're actually seeing something good. My prayers are being answered. I told you to pray for them. And I told you they were going to have some Jesus moment soon. But it seems like the dinner with the 12 Republicans who seem to have some influence much more than Mitch McConnell and Speaker Boehner, it's going to come to some good, it seems. So guess what? The president has none other than Mr. Budget Man, Mr. Ayn Rand Man, Paul Ryan will be his guest for lunch today. So we are watching the president. We know he reached out a lot for the past 4 years. And we also know he got criticized because he wasn't socializing enough. Yeah, President Obama, I love you. And I agreed with you because family time for me is very important. I don't even want to get anyone in my family time on the weekends, especially Saturday and Sunday. I just want to be with my family, do things together. But you need to spare one night per month, at least minimum, to take out the Republicans and the Democrats, because after Ryan, then he's going to meet with he's going to have food for the Democrats too. So everybody's getting a piece of the action. But it was nice for him to start with the Republicans, who are the most obstructive, who are the most unwilling to compromise. So we applaud the president for taking another stand to work together, to compromise, to get the people's business done. So congratulations, President Barack Obama, and congratulations to the 12 who went to dinner. Of course, the dinner was organized by Senator Lindsey Graham and Senator John McCain. You know, Senator McCain is still a little sore for losing in 2008, but when you go into a game, when you go into a competition, when you run for office, one man has to be victorious. And it just happened that the winner was President Barack Obama. Bruised egos, bruised feelings, we need to get over it. Okay, you're probably not going to have a love fest, but even then, just forgive. Cleanse your heart, Senator McCain. Get over it. Life can be so much better when you release yourself and forgive whatever hate or envy or jealousy you feel for someone else. So I'm asking you to do that today. And I'm applauding the Republicans for going to dinner with the president because, as he said before, he has extended invitations before and they were not accepted. We don't know those, but this one was very public and the press was there shouting out their questions. So, Senator McCain, my goodness, I didn't know Senator McCain was so hooked on his cell phone. As he got out of that dinner, he was on that cell phone walking to the car. The president picked up the tab, so they didn't go Dutch. Oh, ouch. Yeah. So the president picked up the tab. I wonder where he picked up the tab from. I hope it's out of his pocket. I think it is. President Obama paying for the dinner for 12 Republicans. What a nice gesture. So we hope that as of today, this day, that the Republicans, some of them seem to have found their Jesus moment. I hope and I continue to pray for them to compromise and come to some kind of meeting in the middle so we can get on with growing our economy and getting people off the edges of their seats before they fall down and break their backs so they can start hiring more people. The economy will grow, and some are predicting that the Dow will go over 15,000. So, 15. No, I meant 5,000. I'm sorry. Yes. I know I got your goat there. Yes, 5,000. They're predicting that it's going to go over 5,000. Wouldn't you love for it to go to 15,000? I would. Yeah, I would, because I think great things would happen. But no, baby steps. We got to get to 5,000 first before we get to 15,000. So just want to, wow, that was a nice thing last night. So the Tea Party filibuster and all, some of them left the dinner and went to join Rand Paul, in his effort to filibuster the president's nominee, John Brennan, to lead the CIA. But that's just show, because, guess what? In his theatrics and a bathroom moment, he had to go and use the lavatory. So that's the reason it ended at 1 a.m. After 13 hours of theatrics, I call it, and a performance to impress people around the world and in the United States for 2016 presidential election run. That's all it was about. And Ted Cruz just let the beans out the bag. You know what he said when he came and joined the fray of the filibuster? He said, wow, this thing is taking root all over the world on the internet. And that's the powerful thing about the internet. But you see, Republicans like Senator Rand Paul, when you're doing things to get fame or to impress the people that are libertarian like you online and that are Tea Partiers online like you, it's not going to come out to be anything great. Because I'm sure you've seen all the surveys and all the new polls that Hillary Rodham Clinton is actually leading in all the polls to be president of the United States in 2016. So I don't care what tricks you do, whether you try to filibuster for 13 hours or whether in the Benghazi hearings you are telling Hillary Clinton that if you were president, she would have lost her job, you would have fired her. Are you Donald Trump or something? Well, I don't think you're ever going to be president. So Hillary Clinton does not have to be worried to be fired, or anyone else for that matter. So that great performance last night, and of course, he was joined by his other folks like Senator Mitch McConnell, who joined him, I think, at midnight, who made his sole responsibility, of course, his failed attempt to make President Barack Obama a one-term president. I wonder what Mitch McConnell is actually doing these days. What is he thinking when he goes to bed, like he did on election night when the president called him and John Boehner and the president was told that they were sleeping? How dare you go to sleep when the president is calling you? Somebody should have awoken you and say the president is on the line. He is still the president. So I just wonder about Senator Mitch McConnell. I feel for him. Because, you see, he's running in 2014, and he might just be losing for all the evil and the hating energy that he put out on poor President Obama. Yeah? So, you see, God has a way of just turning things back to you when you try to do evil. Evil is not a good thing. Hate is not a good thing. My grandmother always said to me, don't use that word hate. It's too strong a word. Use I don't like. Yeah, my grandmother always told me that. Do not use that word hate. You hate somebody. You don't hate anybody. And you should not hate anyone. So Senator Mitch McConnell from Kentucky, who will be running to be re-elected as senator from Kentucky, we wish you all the best. Because you see, I have no hate in my heart for anyone. But I encourage you to go and have a Jesus moment before you start campaigning in Kentucky and ask for forgiveness for obstructing and making it your number one priority to make sure that President Obama was not reelected. So go now, have your Jesus moment, and we will forgive you, because forgiveness is the key to everything, to cleanse our hearts. All right? So that's my thing to Senator. So, Rand Paul, you did it. You got lots of fans online around the world. People know who you are now. So, what's going to be your next move? I'd like to know. Americans now know who you are. And some Europeans, I guess, and people around the world now know who you are if they were tuned into the filibuster that ended at 1 a.m. because you had to go and use the bathroom. Nature called and nature ruled. Who do you think made you want to go to use the bathroom? And he had to be, goggling down all those candies to keep his energy afloat while he faded in the afternoon after the 13 hours. So, Senator Rand Paul, keep your dream alive. Keep hope alive that you want to be president of the United States in 2016. But I don't think your libertarian views and your Tea Party views will make it. That's my prediction. I like to predict things, and they always come true, too. Anyway, getting back to some other business here. If you're looking for a job, especially if you're a young person, and I don't know, they have this age thing that they figure when you get to 50 or 55, you're no longer useful. But believe me, you are useful, because most of the young people, they can't even write a memo or a letter. Okay? I promise you that. Get them, when they graduate college, just tell them to write a memo or write a letter and see what they do. That's a good challenge for them. So don't throw away those old people with all that experience that they have. They still have use in them. Because we have this thing about age. What's your age? Your age doesn't really matter. How healthy are you? How much do you love yourself? How clean is your heart? Who do you hate? Who do you love? How much love do you have in you? How much forgiveness do you have in you? Those are the things that matter. And those are the things to me that keep you happy and blessed. And continue to be blessed. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm going to give you 15 companies that are hiring in these United States. Yes, they are actually hiring. And I'll start off with Bath Fitter. That's a company that does sales in construction and retail. Bath Fitter. So if you're interested in finding a job, you don't have one and you just happen to be watching me, or if you know someone who needs a job, then you need to write this list down and you need to have them start researching to see if this is something that a company that they would want to work for. Once again, welcome to each and every one of you from around the world and in the United States. This is the Diana Wright Show live online. Our number to call if you want to join the conversation any day, anytime, 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. Join us on Facebook. Give us a thumbs up and like us on Facebook. And if you'd like to email us, the email address is dianawrighttv@gmail.com. Also, if you'd like to be a sponsor or an advertiser or a partner to the show, that's the same number that you need to call to get your information of how you can do that. If you are an author and you'd like us to feature your book on the program, we will definitely do that and grant you an interview. And you don't have to pay for it, okay? And also, if you are a young person or you know a young person, we have a feature called Young Power. We like to feature one young person per month to say what they're doing, to promote them, help them move forward or whatever it is, and just talk to them about their life and what they have achieved. So if you know any such young person that's doing well, because not all young people are doing badly, we need to celebrate them. And I promise to do that on this show. As we grow, we ask you to tell everyone. Word of mouth is the biggest and greatest and best advertising. So get on the website, click on the web store, move around, read some of the articles about my past, and you will find out more about me and about my problems, my trials, my tragedies in my book, Deadly Negligence, that should be out by May. And we will keep you posted about that. All right. So just asking you to keep that in mind as you go about your busy day today. Don't forget that come this weekend, the clock springs forward. So you're going to lose an hour's sleep. Yeah. But you'll have longer evenings where light is abound. All right. So this week is weekend. This weekend is actually the weekend that we spring forward. I don't know why they don't just leave the time the way it is. I'm not, I have to lose an hour's sleep this weekend. Yes, I'm complaining about that. And also, I wanted to tell you about something that I experienced this week that I think is kind of dangerous. A phone call from some guy calling from Ceylon, which is in, I think, Sri Lanka or one of those countries. He decided to call my number. This number, I suspect he got the number from the show. He's calling to say he's calling from Microsoft, and he's calling because my computer needs fixing. So I just did something that I normally do to people who call about things like that. I said, well, I don't deal with those things. My husband is in charge of that. So if you'd like to speak to him, you can call back after 6 o'clock. So he had the nerve to call back after 6 o'clock after he knows that he's a scammer. So he calls back after 6 o'clock, and I gave the phone to my husband. He's trying to tell you that he's calling from Microsoft. I'm here to tell you that Microsoft is not calling anyone. So if anyone calls you from Ceylon or wherever else in the world and talk about they're calling from Microsoft, hang up the phone and kick them to the curb. Because Microsoft does not call you. Just like Social Security does not send you emails. Social Security communicates with you through written letters. Or the phone number that you gave them, they will call and identify themselves. They're not sending you any emails. So when you get those things, please don't open them. Just delete, which is the right thing to do. All right? So just a caution. Anyone calling you to tell you that they're calling you from Microsoft, just hang up your phone and keep on moving. Okay, all right, bath fitters, that was the first one. Community Health Solutions, that's obviously self-explanatory. So if you're in the health industry, Community Health Solutions, they're hiring. Interactive Intelligence, that is a company that deals with computer software. ITT Tech, they're also hiring. And Jamba Juice is hiring too. K Designers, of course, that's design. Lincoln Heritage Life Insurance, obviously they're selling insurance. Morgan Stanley, that's a finance company. Petco is also hiring. RBD Marketing Inc., they're also hiring. Univision is also hiring. West Liberty Foods, they're also hiring. Wolters Kluwer, they're an information software company and they're hiring too. And this company is called Yodel or Yodel. Yes, it's an online small business advertising company. They're hiring also. So you might want to check them out. And the one that I forgot, I think it is called Zip Realty. So if you are a realtor, and you're in the business of wanting to continue in this frustrating business of being a realtor, then you can call Zip Realty. They're also hiring. Okay, some good news and some bad news that teen drivers' deaths are up in 2012. They were up in 2012, the first 6 months of 2012. More teen drivers died in comparison to the same period in 2011. But the good part of the news is that overall deaths of teens remain near historic lows. And this is a new report from the Governor's Highway Safety Association. Tennessee, no doubt, had the most deaths with 16 teens dying while driving. Florida and North Carolina had the greatest declines in teenage drivers' death. Wow. And Washington had no deaths in the first half of 2012. Well, we would all like to be like Washington, wouldn't we? I think so. Yeah. Anyway, moving right along here now. I don't have good news for those of you who own BMWs, because you see that BMW recalls 570,000 late model cars because of engine stalls, power failures, cited for the 1 Series, the 3 Series, and the Z4 models. This according to filings with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and that's in the US. But in South Africa, an additional 33,000 BMW models are being recalled. A significant percentage of 3 Series BMW are made, did you know? They're made in South Africa and exported to the United States. And it's not just BMW. A lot of these new cars that they're putting out, because they're so computerized, those cars, they're stalling. Whether they're a year old, 2 years old, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes the computer is just not connecting with what you're trying to do. If you're trying to drive, it stalls. Yeah, it actually happened to me in a car that I just had. And it's not a good thing, because I do believe that a lot of these new cars that are coming out, the companies that are putting out these cars are not knowledgeable enough with fixing the problems with the cars. So you got to be careful what you're going to buy when you're buying a car, because you need to do a little research and make sure the car that you're planning to buy is not one of these cars that are doing the same. It's not just BMW. It's quite a few other models that people are concerned about and having the same kind of complaints about their dashboard going out, their phone thing in the car going out, the radio going out. The phone works sometimes, it doesn't work some other times. And stalling is a big thing. So I would wonder and would like to know, why is it that these companies, when they put out these cars, shouldn't they really make sure, instead of trying to rush the thing? Like I heard the guy from BlackBerry in Canada saying that the reason they didn't push the new BlackBerry out for the Christmas season is because they wanted to get it right. And I thought that was a wonderful thing for him to say and for his company to have done. So I would like to encourage all the car companies around the world and in the United States, if you are changing your cars from what you're accustomed to and from what your service people know how to fix, please do not put those cars out prematurely, because people are just going to get annoyed, trade back in the car, and never come back to you again. I'm one of those people. I'm serious. And it's very frustrating when you have a car, a new vehicle, and it starts to behave badly after a year of owning the car. I think that's the most frustrating thing, because that's one of the reasons I don't like used cars, because you never know, or you don't know what the previous owner did with the car. Did they service the car? Did they take care of the car? You kind of know by looking at the car, but then you really don't know what's going on underneath the hood. So I'm just begging all the car companies, please, wherever you are around this world, take time before you push those cars out and try to jeopardize people's safety, because it's about safety. If you're coming from somewhere, you're trying to make a left turn after your light has changed to green, and then you're coming out into a major highway like 441, and your car stalls in the middle of that road making that left turn, you panic. And it's not a good feeling. So I'm just, saying that now that BMW is doing its recall, and a lot of these companies, when they need to do a recall, they don't want to do it because they look bad. So we applaud BMW for doing this. And we hope that all the other companies will take their cars out, recall them when something is wrong. Don't stick it to the consumer every single time. We get stuck enough every day by just going to buy groceries. They're trying to make the small boxes and give you the same price of the big box that you used to buy yesterday. And they hope that you don't notice. And, I heard the head of Chrysler saying that, he hopes that there's never a bad car because that will really kill people. And the fastest thing that goes around is a car that is new and bad. A car that is new and stalling in the middle of 441. Or anywhere you are for that matter. It's just not good. So we applaud BMW for doing this. And we hope that if you do have a BMW, we hope that your car is not affected. But if it is, at least BMW is man enough, standing up to recall the vehicles. All right, let's move to some news on health. Obamacare, or the Affordable Care Act that we know it as, it actually requires employers to offer health insurance to its employees. But as you know, all the Republicans, they're bent on trying to block it, not do this, not do that. You see that about quite a few Republican governors have now decided to take on the Medicaid expansion part of Obamacare. We applaud them for that. But just in case you thought that things were going to be great, there are some companies that are finding another way to stick it to you. So they're requiring workers to weigh in and have blood tests in order to get the best health care insurance rates. These are some of the things they want you to do. Biometric screening, blood tests for cholesterol and glucose levels, have your waistline measured. Now, I just kind of sat down when I was writing this story out and envisioned my employer measuring my waistline before I can get a decent insurance rate. So I guess if you're diabetic, if your cholesterol is high and your waistline is too big, your insurance is going to be really high in some of these companies. And this is their way to get around not covering you, I do believe, or to let you pay so much for your insurance, because have no fear and have no pipe dreams. Companies are not really doing you that much of a favor when it comes to insurance. Even now, before Obamacare, forget about Obamacare. A lot of companies, you were paying out of your paycheck for that health insurance, and plenty of it too. Some companies charge you more than if you go and find health insurance for yourself. So let your companies not make you feel like they're doing you such a wonderful, great favor, because you are paying part of that insurance bill. It's not all free. There might be a few companies that covers it all, but most companies in the United States, I don't know about the rest of the world, they're not covering all of your health insurance unless you live in France or Italy or Spain or those places where, healthcare is free, or Canada or England. Yeah. So, a lot of you say, oh, my company pays for my insurance. Did you check your paycheck to see how much came out of the paycheck? You need to, because you may just realize that you can get that insurance cheaper on your own. All right, so that's what a lot of companies are requiring you to get now, a biometric screening, blood tests for cholesterol and glucose. So, wellness, which is what DAX is promoting now. DAX done. You see how crucial it is? Because in order to get insurance, a good insurance rate with the companies, you're going to need to be well. So let's love ourselves and let's be well. How about that? That's a great combination right there. Because it will help you, not just because you decide to tune in to the Diana Wright Show live online, but because it will help you to be a better you so you can get a better rate on your insurance. Just in case you didn't know that someone was going to measure your waistline to get a job, to pay for your insurance, or pay some of it, because you're not paying all of it. I don't know many companies that pay all of your insurance. You really need to put some money in, and a lot of times you're putting in a whole lot of money out of that paycheck every week or every 2 weeks or however you get paid, or every month, whatever it is. Okay. I saw something online that I thought was nice and interesting. You know, we go through life and we change paces and we want different things and we dream of different things. I remember one time my dream was to drive, when I lived in California, I wanted to drive a cabriolet, which is that Volkswagen that, you know, you take the top down and it's so cool. And then the Miata came around and I wanted a Miata, but then I thought it's too small and it's too low, you know. And then the Jeeps, SUVs came in and you wanted to have an SUV and you want to have a this and a that. But then in the 90s, they tell me that the most influential cars of the 90s are as follows. 1990. I'll read the 1990s first. Chevrolet Corvette ZR1. Ford Explorer. Lexus LS400. I remember that car when it came out in 1990 and I sat in someone's LS400 and I just felt luxury all around me. But now they have so moved from the LS400. And then, of course, the Mazda Miata, a very cute car. I know one guy in Jamaica. He shall remain nameless because he's not a nice person. He had a Miata and everyone wanted one. Then there is, in the 1991 now, there were two cars, Acura NSX and the GMC Cyclone. And in 1992, they had quite a few. The Dodge Viper, remember that car? The GMC Typhoon, the Honda Civic, wow. The Humvee, that was a big one. And the McLaren F1. And the 1993, there was the Mazda RX-7 and the Toyota Supra. Everyone loved that car. Oh, the Toyota Supra was sweet. Then in 1995, you had the Ferrari F50. 1995, I met a gentleman who owned Carico who had a Ferrari. And what a beautiful car. And he taught me a very good lesson. Not just me, the whole crew of us that was selling his products. His product was China. And he said to us, at the time he was building a mansion and the closet was as big as my house. Yeah. And he said to us, if you're ever going to own a luxury car, if you can't buy it cash, you cannot afford that car. And I thought to myself, what a great lesson to learn. So if you go out and you buy a luxury car, you should not be paying a payment. You should be buying that car cash. And that's what he told us. And when you went downstairs and looked at that red Ferrari, ooh, fire red, it was so beautiful. And he told us it was paid for in cash. So he advised us, and I actually kept that in my head all these years. It's been a long time. Yeah. So I'm advising you now. If you happen to love a luxury car, whether it's a Mercedes, a Range Rover, or a Jaguar, or a Bugatti, or, Aston Martin, or any one of those, make sure you have the cash. Or a Corvette. A Corvette is quite expensive. Yeah. Make sure you can pay for that car cash before you get it. And that is not my word. That's a lesson I learned from a very successful businessman who was the owner and the distributor of Carico for China. Yeah. So I learned that lesson from him. In 1996, there was the Porsche Boxster. And some people say Porsche, some people say Porsche. Whatever you say, it's still the same Porsche. 1997, we have Hyundai Tiburon. I don't know that one. And 1997, of course, Volkswagen Volkswagen came back with that Beetle. I remember the days when everyone wanted to own a Volkswagen Beetle in the olden days, especially in Jamaica. Yes, lots and lots and lots of Volkswagens were there. They conquered, along with the Mini Cooper. They were there, and they were wonderful. Every young man wanted to have one to pick up his girlfriend to take her to the movies. And of course, in 1998, the Porsche 911 was the car that everyone was dreaming of having. So whatever your dream car is, make sure you can, if it is indeed a luxury model, because everybody has different dreams when it comes to cars. Warren Buffett drives a Honda Accord. So, and he's a wealthy man. He can afford any car he wants. But that's his car that he wants to drive. So if you're yearning to drive a luxury car, make sure you have the cash in the bank to pay for that car. It's much easier. It's a better journey. That's what my ex-boss told me. All right? So, I have something great for you, and I hope I can finish it before the end of the show. And once again, before I give you these great things, thank you so much, and welcome to the Diana Wright Show live online. And we welcome you from around the world and in the United States. And we are so happy to have you join us. We're happy to have you spread the word. We're happy to have you love us on Facebook, like us on Facebook. I say love because love is a word that I just keep in my head all the time. Do everything with love and it comes out much better. If you do it in hate, it will come back to you. And if you throw love against the wall, that's what, comes back. And if you throw hate, that's going to come back to you too. 20 things you all do or should do in your lifetime before you pass away. They're just suggesting these things. You don't have to do all of them. Some of them you might have done already, and some of them you are thinking of doing. But before I give you them, again, I'm going to keep you guessing. Go to the calendar. October 5th is a day you need to remember, and you need to make time out to join us as we save lives through the Save a Life Jamaica Foundation, headed by President Novlet Gale. And we will let you know as time goes by what we're planning and what the name of the event is. And if you'd like to guess, you can let me know what you think your guess is. You can guess on Facebook. Tweet me. Tell me something. Yeah. We welcome that. And of course, if you'd like to invite me to speak at your event or your church, or spread my I Love Me and give you my testimony, and you can see my book when it comes out. You don't have to wait until the book comes out. You can pre-order the book. So I'll still come and give you my testimony and share the love. All right? And share the miracle of God in my life. All right. So 20 things you all should do, or at least do them once in your lifetime, at least one time. The first one, you should own your own business. I don't care what it is. Own your own business. Be your own boss, even for one day, 1 week. That's something you should aspire to achieve, especially for you young people. And older people too. You're never too old to have a shower of rain down on you and blessings. Number 2, live in a foreign country. That is my dream, wanting to work on that, because I am definitely going to be living in Europe at some point. If it's even for a year, I promise you I want to do that. My country of choice would be France or Italy. Those are my countries of choice, possibly Germany. But I would just love to live overseas just to see the difference. You've been there and you spent vacation, but I'm talking about living, feeling, experiencing the culture, speaking the language, expanding your mind and your soul and your spirit, and share your experiences with people, because I can't wait to go overseas. And I'd love to also go to Thailand and probably live for a couple of months too. And did you know, yes, I told you this week that they were the world capital place for books. They read a lot. They encourage their citizens to read and read and read, and everyone should be reading. So, okay, buy a house. Yes, I think that's an experience that everyone should experience. Even though some people would say that not everyone could own a house, and they blame President Clinton for trying to make it happen and blame the Democrats. There's nothing wrong with it. I think everyone is entitled. It doesn't matter how small that house is. At least you can say, I owned a house and I made that house into a home, and you're proud of yourself for doing so. Drive coast to coast. That is another one of my dreams. Yes, driving coast to coast. Because you see, if you're driving coast to coast, you can see the beautiful country that is the United States of America. I've driven from Florida to New York and Florida to Georgia and all that, and Carolina and all of that. But I haven't done the entire country. It would be a great thing. What an experience. The only problem with that is that you need so much time to do it, because you can't do it in a hurry. You can't do it in a hurry. So one of the things here is to have a sabbatical. So maybe if you take a sabbatical, you can actually drive coast to coast. So get your heart broken. I think each and every one of us gets our heart broken, whether we like it or not. At some point in our lives, we have had a broken heart by some crazy man or some crazy woman or some crazy boy or girl in high school. Because high school is a place that love seems to reign sometimes. It shouldn't, because, high school is a place that you need to go and learn. Try to learn some stuff. And college, you should try to learn some more stuff. So, get your heart broken. How do you feel about that one? Would you like to get your heart broken before you die? I think I could have done without broken hearts. Maybe you should break a heart yourself. Okay. Be cheered by a crowd. Now, I've experienced that quite a bit by being on stage, emceeing functions, talking to audiences, getting cheered by my TV audience for the Diana Wright show that I did in Jamaica. And that went around quite a bit of Caribbean islands and London. Yeah, I got a couple of cheers. So I would wish that for you too, to be cheered by a crowd. It's a good feeling when you're up there and the crowd is, calling your name, and you're feeling good about yourself, and because you know yourself and you're so confident, and they just give you, more juice to be good at what you're doing at the moment. So yeah, I wish that for all of you. Keep a journal. I have not gotten into that. The journal that might be something you keep is, I don't keep a journal. I keep something at my bedside table where I write down my thoughts as it comes, which a lot of them I read for you. But I've never gotten into keeping a journal or a diary. I'm not good at that. But they say it's something that you need to try to do. Maybe I'm going to try that. I just can't imagine just sitting down and writing down, everything for that day. No, maybe not. Okay. Take a leap of faith in yourself. And I'm going to leave it at that one. I'll give you the rest this evening because I didn't cover all that I had to do, but I see my time has passed and I need to chug along and do other things that I must do for the day. But I'll be back with you at 8 o'clock this evening. And hope you will join me again, and you will tell a friend, and you will get on your Facebook page, and you will spread it all around the world, and you will get on Twitter and tweet about me, the Diana Wright Show live online. Yes. And you will call me, and you will make suggestions, and you will email me. And you will invite me to come and speak at your occasion, at your conference, and at your church, or whomever, wherever. Just let us share the love, let us spread love, and let us love ourselves, because that is indeed, my friends, love is the most important emotion you will ever feel and ever have in your life. But when you love yourself, it conquers everything. And when you hear my story, and you will know exactly, I'm not just talking, I'm talking from experience. So if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. Think of Dax's message, Dax Dunn's message that he has now. It's not Rad Financial anymore. It's the wellness. Wellness. So loving yourself, which is my crusade, I love me, and wellness coupled with loving yourself. What a wonderful world we're going to have. And how many wonderful people and healthy people we're going to have running around this place so they can actually buy insurance at their jobs. Thank you for joining me. As I say, au revoir, adios, ciao, and see you later, because I promise that it will be greater. Have a blessed and super day, and see you again at 8, live, right here on the Diana Wright Show, live online. Ooh, yes. Let's see what we do here now. Yeah.